Time of day, and welcome to Tales of Aether. But on previous sessions, I have no notes. Anyway, in previous sessions, I believe you have arrived at the Ruber estate, which has been bombed by the last of the sound devices of the Scorn. You arrived to see it damaged and desolate, and rushed inside to seek out the family of Miles Ruber and see who has survived, who has died. You found corpses of the escort who were piloting the ships that brought the bomb, and you found Miles' family, wounded heavily, the undead portion of it, but mostly alive. Well, actually, mostly dead, but animated. And the ones who seem to have been hurt the most was Victoria, being a new vampire, the regeneration was coming hard to her, and her youngest child, Benedict. You spent some time trying to help them and heal the wounded. Miles had conversation with his father about what was going on. And after Jack has succeeded at has succeeded at charming the ungrateful prelate, you interrogated him, surrendering all the information you needed about why he did the things, who were his allies, most importantly that he turned out to be Coril Vara, Winno's old mentor. Distraught and disturbed, you left him there after a hard conversation, intent on traveling to Silver Pinnacle and Lamia, where the next part of your journey awaits you. Find another one of Dalu's clones to figure out Miles' ascension, and maybe have a little bit of revenge on the side. Unlikely, but maybe. Anyway, that's about where we pick up, somewhere on the 18th, 19th of November, as you've, it's not put behind, but at least sorted out the immediate involvement with this bombing, preparing for your departure. So yeah, quickly, like if you want any supplies or anything.
We have restocked on general ship supplies. I should probably put that into roll 20. Yeah, I have fueled up, and fuel. I need to check if I did bought that earlier. When did we arrive here? We still have one fuel at the moment. I will buy a second one. No, that's not this one.
All right. Yeah. Anybody else?
No, I'm good.
Do we need anything for?
Do we need
like
costumes, or like what would we need?
Yeah, we didn't do anything about dressing up as women. I don't think we decided to do it.
I think we have cancelled that plan.
Yeah. Okay. Well, other than that, there's not really much we can even buy here.
It is fairly low tech around here, yeah. That's for sure.
Now, you know that it's not that, like you can't go on the street without a woman overseeing you kind of level of bad, but more like... Yeah, nobody's gonna like you or respect you very much.
Definitely, if we're not gonna get anything, that's fine, but let's absolutely stock the ship with trade stuff.
Oh yes, we can buy valuable trade goods. That is an excellent idea.
If you don't intend to sell on Lamy, you won't get much money for it.
I will.
They might have stuff that they don't have in Lamia. Like men's clothes must be.
If you're lucky, yes. What I'm saying is, you are getting any like distance bonuses.
Yeah, no, I don't think we mean for Lamia, but just like this is a good place to stock up on luxury goods since they produce a lot of art and so on, right? That's worth a lot of money per ton.
You can do that, yeah, that's not bad. Lamia also would be a pretty good place actually to stock up because like it has unique things over there.
But is there anything that we could turn a quick profit on in the meantime that they'd have here, not in Lamia?
Unless you come up with something.
Yeah, fashionable men's clothes.
Sure.
But the men don't have a large allowance, you know. I'm not sure they get.
Men are not allowed to touch the finances of the household.
Probably doesn't
Okay,
work.
define fashionable men clothes.
Ooh,
All right,
what's
fine.
the fashion in
Men's
Lamia?
lingerie.
Dressing them
Men's
up.
lingerie?
Yeah, sex slaves dress up, you know.
Men's lingerie.
Okay.
BDSM gear.
All right, so leather bikini. Okay.
A gimp.
For men, yes. Are we actually buying this, guys? Because we're not going to be able to sell that anywhere else.
Body
Just
oil.
going to warn you in advance.
If it works, it works.
I'm down for just luxury goods personally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Steroids, protein.
But are they worth like 7k per ton?
Depends on how much you roll, basically. But yeah, 1,000 per something.
Per ton? No.
2d6 per 2d6 multiplied by 1,000 per ton.
Okay.
I mean, nobody's telling you like don't roll. Like you can roll if the price is too high. You can just like fuck off.
Yeah, if it's above a 7, we say no to RNG.
Yeah, right.
Who wants to roll double 1 for me? Guys, no pressure, but please.
Ooh.
I guess I know what I wanted.
Sure, I'll roll. I feel unlucky.
Nice, go for it.
Ooh.
We're not buying whatever this is.
Yeah, like Miles comes
Or
back,
ours.
and there's just he's like, hey guys, like shows you a catalog of like this just like amazing like gold trimmed but very simple like leather bikini, and there's just like a stamp on it, and you're like, that's it, like no jewels, no. And he's like, look, this is like something brand, and you're like, yeah, sure, no, but I was like, but that's what I wear. Miles.
Joke's on you, Miles goes commando.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains why he doesn't know how to buy underwear.
Mm-hmm.
Last time he bought underwear, it was his mother. Every year, Miles returns home for Christmas to receive socks and underwear from his parents.
It's more like Festivus, but yeah. So we're on our way to Lamia?
I mean, unless you have any other business here, then sure.
Miles said his goodbyes.
Do you have a good way to contact your family, like by that ice stone? So just we can do it at a moment's notice instead of waiting?
I mean, it only connects if you're on the same island?
No, same plane. Ice stone is basically a sending message.
Oh, okay,
but
so yeah.
It's a magical item, so...
Like, we get their contact details. Is that possible? I assume you may know them. It was just, so
here and there.
Connection. Yeah.
No, I think we fared pretty well without having a direct contact. Unless they have it here for cheap, I wouldn't mind buying one. But
I think they've given you that letter that's needed if it becomes a little worse. And apart from that, I think no contact doesn't hurt us at all. So might as well.
Oh no, I'll have to probably hide my identity again under a false name.
Haven't you gotten used to that by now? Traveling with Winnell, it seems like a second nature, literally.
I haven't used my alter ego port in Jeterson for a while now.
Ah, I miss Potent Jeterson, yes. Yes, that's a good alter ego right there. So I guess we can start. We need to jump to the Silver Pinnacle, right?
Yes.
Which is... Let me...
It's like...
I don't think I can fail this.
It's like 6 hours for you to get off planet, 1 day to reach the edge. Which... Wait a moment. It's been so long since I've used this. Where's my table?
Yeah, we haven't traveled for a while.
Yeah. I'm like, this is a Skyship campaign. Come on. Right. I think I can do this. Aww.
You're muted.
I think the difficulty is 7. Because I assume the rudder is less than a year old, which we can probably get here.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah,
and it's only 1 hex, so there's no addition from that, so it's just a 7.
Right. And and you just so that means it.
What? Isn't the 6 an auto succeed?
Don't remember. You check. But I mean, if you say you can't fail it, then I mean,
it's gonna be hard to fail this with 4 dice, but I can try.
Yeah. He needs 4 ones, right?
Yeah, I thought you like your modifier is high enough that you literally can't roll below 7, but
no, I can definitely. If I roll 4 ones, it's a 5, I think. So there are multiple. So 2. I have a +3.
Okay, so you can get to 5. Yeah. Yeah, you're pretty close.
Oh, that's okay. It's an okay roll, guys. We'll do fine. A 15.
15. Okay. So your ship blows up.
3 6s and a 5. Okay. Good roll.
Jeez, that's remember about this next time you roll for something important, you know. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it feels quite nice for you to be back on the ship and of this island.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure Bobby really approves to get as far away from here as possible. And while you do need to go to Lamia, at least you hope you're not gonna be getting into politics over there, but stop me if I'm overstepping my boundaries. But yeah, you take the day to get to the edge of the system, which basically, let's say, like +2 days of crafting versus last session. So probably that's for you. And develop your ship in wings and fly off towards Silver Pinnacle. I believe it's gonna take you 3 days of travel.
Yes.
Wonderful.
So we arrive on the 21st, and then heading towards Lamia, we arrive on the 22nd.
No.
Huh?
20th is you started your jump. Because remember.
I heard 18th we started our jump.
No. So 21st, 22nd, 23rd, you arrive at Silver Pinnacle. And unless you are interested in going anywhere else, 24th, like middle of day, 25th, you will land on Lamia.
So
7 days total.
Okay, then I finish both of my modifications on my gun.
Let me roll one more time.
Which day was it? What's the date again?
Now it's the 23rd. When we arrive in the system, and 24th when we arrive at... But 24th is when we will be arriving in Lamia. But let's see the system first, maybe. But I think we're heading there directly anyway. It doesn't really matter, but I still want to see.
One moment, as I'm trying to not delete things I... Come on, grab them. And you don't need to give me a moment.
Yeah, no stress. The first time back on the ship in what feels like such a long time. It has been
a while.
We were only away from the ship for like 10 days. Not too bad.
Nah. This one is like this, and this one.
So you're one of those spreadsheet warriors, aren't you?
Who?
Who?
Who? What?
What?
Don't know who you're talking to. Is this from your professional hatred for spreadsheets, or where does this come from, Phil?
Let's analyze. Let's dive deep.
Alright. And it has... That's a lot of refilling stations. Alright. I think he... Yes. Good. Sure. And what about one itself? Let me... Oh my god, that's a lot of refilling stations. There we go.
No, I'm actually sorry because I didn't really sleep last night, and yeah,
You too?
basically I just woke up, so don't mind me. If I look tired, it's because I'm tired.
Anyone want to play a board game while we're waiting on Lance?
What?
We're waiting on
I
me.
didn't understand you acoustically.
Oh, you're doing all of this calculation, so anyone else want to play a board game while we're waiting? I'll pull up like a digital version of like chess on one of the screens and make it go across. I'll play some games.
Just remember, guys, if you play Bobby, don't come crying to me afterwards. You know it always ends poorly. Just keep amongst yourselves.
Shoots the chess pieces.
No, we're real chess. You don't need the simulated chess thing, but okay.
Boom! There we go, that's the system. Wonderful. So you've got basically 4 regions. Island cluster on the periphery with a refilling station and outpost. And you've got obviously Zlamia with its own refueling and research base. Then you've got 2 empty planets, mains, which is just like, actually no, not main, Ulgakat or whatever, which is just there, just a barren island. And mains, which is not populated, but it does have its own research and a moon with some kind of...
When you say not
money
populated,
project.
Does that mean, are these islands part of like the hunting grounds of
No.
Lamia's hunts, or is all on Lamia itself?
All on Lamia.
Okay.
Like on those planes, there's like literally nothing on the surface. It's just barren rock of various sizes. Some are breathable, some are not. But how people know.
Which one of the guys is here? Bazaru or Ilonu?
Ilonu Masco.
Ilonu Masco, yes. So just so I can read his profile quickly. I had a Shrike, yes, that's Shrike.
He kind of is like a biology something. He more than likely is already charmed by them, so he's an insider.
So Dalo, we do what we do best. We be ourselves and just straight up ask the guy, or what's the plan?
Wait, he's a hunter? He's not a like trying to smash together creatures to create things?
No, he's a hunter from what the profile says. I think these things are created by Slavic technology that lies deep within territory that can't be accessed easily, and he's just one of the ones that is very good at hunting whatever prowls on Lamia, I suppose.
No, here is assisting and later leading experience in creation of new beast types. I remember he created stuff. The second point and the second sub point.
You're right. Also,
I mean, he doesn't need to be a good hunter himself to assist in the hunts.
Okay, so he's a scientist.
Well, not biologist, but what it is. Transmitologist, I guess. Biotransmitologist. What else is supposed to be?
He likes seeing things fuck.
Oh, that's a pervert.
Yeah, I've
No, that's a divination voyeurist.
I've very much since having this talk with you guys that putting my name out there is fine, but yeah, there was another idea of trying to deal with this strike and get through to this Ilonu through the creature. That was Bobby's idea, right?
You're suggesting we hunt a creature that even vampires fear of?
That is what I said.
We've got big balls, right? We've got big balls.
I have an easy way out, so I'm down.
Here's my plight. I'm trying to read this damn file, but Roll20 on mobile is horrible.
Perhaps before we launch yourself at the proposition, we first get some information about this Shrike? Shriek?
Shrike.
Shrike.
I'd say, by the way it's written.
Shrike, yes. I'm gonna, Jamie, copy paste it for you in Discord. This might be easier for you to read.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So you're coming in for a landing at Lamia, I assume, or are you taking a stop somewhere?
I think we're coming in for a landing at Lamia. First questions first. What are we? Are we transforming anyone into anything by way of Winnel to take on excellent second identities, for example?
I'm just gonna say it. I really miss what's his name, Portion Cheetahson. I want him back.
Well, beam me up, Johnny.
Yay! We'll come back.
Captain Porton of the story.
All right. As you come in for descent, you see a shadow of a giant rock falling towards your ship. You have no idea where it came from.
Rocks falls, Miles dies.
What are they like? What are they? The Earth Genie from Earth
Genasi?
plane. No. They have a name.
Uh,
I remember everybody else, but not the Earth ones.
Dao. Dao?
Dao, yes.
Yes.
Dao. A Dao through a rock. Right. So yeah, any preparations you wanna make before landing?
How recognizable is Miles' face, to be honest?
You'd assume that the only ones who might recognize you would be somebody who like visited your parents in the last. What are you? You're like 30?
Yeah,
Like in
something
the
like
last 10, 15 years?
that.
And you were present.
Yeah.
Somewhere like 10 years, most likely, I think. I don't quite remember the timeline on your backstory, like when you were actually like helping.
It's supposed to be here.
But that's the only time you would have seen people because you were doing PR basically, and then you would have met some reason.
PR and HR, yeah. Well, Winnell, if you have the resources and you don't mind spending them on a few face-changing magic majigs, I wouldn't mind having my face change.
I already did that once we started talking, like the Kermit guy.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Kermit is canon now, I see.
Oh, yeah.
And you got it on all of us? As well as Miles?
I mean, I don't need it personally. No one's gonna recognize me anywhere.
I don't care any longer. And what about you, Dalo? Like, you look kind of like the guy we're looking for. It could be bad, could be good.
Yeah. Wouldn't mind it, but I think if I'm gonna adopt this, putting my name out there anyway, I might as well keep the face normal. Let him see it if we see him. So I'm fine for now.
Right.
Alright, so the first thing you see as you're landing is like a giant building of a like Lance fan club for his piloting days, like a giant portrait of his. No.
Nope.
No, that's not happening. Alright, so as you are traveling towards Lamia, and it is a very distinct island because it is just completely green. You see like some like the reflection of it, some bodies of water, but nowhere else you've previously visited have you seen so much greenery, not even on Kalkidiki. And you start traveling towards it, lands like as usual. You're kind of like taking a relatively low altitude and like planning to take a scenic route, like being polite, being according to customs, but still like for nice visuals. When you get incoming communication from Lamia port, and it basically goes trying to remember your ship's code, like Sylph number gain altitude, Sylph 08239, gain altitude or veer to the north. You're entering restricted flight zone.
Oh, brand. Restricted flight zones. Okay, yeah. I'll pull up and veer towards the north as they suggested. Whatever north is here, but
so
yes.
You're like now traveling at a good like altitude of like about 2 kilometers above the island, which not much by modern standards, but still here it's quite high. And you pass over like jagged mountains, and you see that body of water, giant lake most likely, gathered at the basin at the bottom of those mountains. But after that, it's just green, just like green everywhere, and one snaking, curving, shining river, most likely going from that lake towards the destination close to the city of Lamia.
Would you say this is the biggest isle we have visited so far, or?
Let me check. Lamia is a good 600 kilometers across, so one of the bigger. And as you're going by, you kind of like see more like it's at a point just like trees shaking, like tall trees, as something is moving through them in the jungle, and then you see large winged creatures gliding above the jungle, both single and in flocks, and you like judge the distance, judge the size, and you're like, oh, good thing they told us to gain altitude. Those things are like half our ship size. And almost nothing just peers through the jungle or shows through it aside from the river and occasional creature flying out of it or stomping through it. Flying over the jungle, you start seeing the only city that you see on this island on the horizon, the city port of Lamia. And the closest comparison that comes to your head is going back to Helios, to the chariot in the Sol Union, except it's supposed to be. In total, it's smaller. It's much smaller. It's more a town in size than a city. But the scale of it, the colors of it, are definitely reminding you like of the temple, palace parts of Chariot. Because this city looks like it's been built with majesty in mind. The streets are wide and covered with white, shining, most like not marble, but some kind of white brickstones. The houses are tall and spire up to the sky, and their roofs are definitely not gold, but some kind of shiny, polished metal. It's all looking very clean, very planned, very rich and opulent. A huge distinction compared to the like small urban pragmatic Nachtschaffen you just came from. You do see like much smaller scale buildings like clumped around this whole majesty on the outskirts of the town, but those are much smaller and take up much less space. That's also where the port is located, towards which you're traveling. And as you get into proper like flight corridor and start descending and come close to the ground, you do notice that the city does not seem to be like wildly populated. You do see like some beasts slumbering down the street, some carriages passing on those like white brick stones, but it's half empty. And just send some more. And as the port comes into sight, you see a veritable human anthill of construction. As you get a feeling that this is where the majority of the population is living. And calling it a slum is offensive to Islam.
Okay.
It is definitely messed up, piled up construction of buildings built on top of buildings. The port itself, while not as populated as those on Orella or Helios, is definitely more populated than Nachtschaffen. You see quite a lot of ships that seem to be new arrivals, large, impressive ships, some traders, but a lot that you, Miles, recognize as different types of Red Order corvettes and patrol boats. And judging by like the coloration of the sails and the symbols of them, they do not appear to be like Lamian armed forces, but more like private ships that have come here for whatever reason. You dock, you pay your fees, and actually, one moment. Let me check. Hope I made it. It was a couple of months ago. Yes, I did it. Thank God. Let's see. I'm just checking talking rules. Right, of course. Oh yeah. Alright, so nothing special about docking crew. Yeah, so yeah, you land, you get your dock, you pay your fees, your ship kind of looking both way too peaceful and kind of way too clean compared to many of the ships docked here, which are bristling both with weapons and like markings of all kinds and just general scars of being repaired over and over and over again. And you, Miles, actually would recognize some of those markings as some like Arisen baronies. So you assume that some of those ships are in the property ownership of most likely like traveling, questing, Arisen ability. Or adventurers, and I mean, it's not uncommon for such people to be adventurers, and obviously coming to Lamia is like on one hand a good place to earn a name, on the other hand not a good place to earn a name, but it kind of like balances all out. But yeah, you dock, you land, you dock, wonderful language done. And you disembark. Yes. No.
Is it just from what we've seen so far and going through all of this docking and just being here, is it obvious that this place and those private sort of military ships, it's ostensibly rich people owning the majority of land, or is there some like cultural reason why everyone's in one anthill?
Well, you don't. I mean, you personally don't know, but you get a feeling like the shiny part is the lady part of town, the shitty part is the boys part of town.
Just like in real life.
Okay, but there's not like. I got the idea that there was almost nobody in the streets of the nicer areas, the majority of the city, but there is actually, like, it's populated.
Oh yeah. Now that you're like dog, they're just like people on top of people. According to your
male and female, or just
well, you haven't disembarked yet, so we'll get to that. But like according to the traveling compendium, you know that there are like several tens of thousands of people living here, and you got the feeling like if, let's say, several thousand, there's like 30,000 people living here. Most likely 29 of those are in this port slums and 1,000 in the pretty part of town.
No.
Okay, sure.
Is there a tourist information center of the local places to visit?
So you leave your ship.
I guess,
yeah. I think I thought back on what I said. I think before we step out, I would actually, just for the fun of it, change my face and some other stuff.
Change to Ben Shapiro.
Yeah. I wanna be a little bit shorter and stockier because I use this thing.
Manifest aspect. What is that?
As for the, I want to get the immunity to toxins again and 10 more hit points.
So basically, like you're pretending to be a dwarf.
Yeah, let's go for that. Like, I'm going for Oscar right now.
Alright, sure.
Okay. And I do the speedball again. So there's these two.
Okay.
And okay, last thing. Discord is up. Where is it?
Nice,
Where
our
is it?
Discord server.
This one, Discord.
Oh, I'm like, what are you talking about?
Okay, that's it. I'm Oscar. We have Discord
So you have toxicity. What else do you have? Because you get like one.
and hit points.
Oh, and hit points. Okay. Lovely. Yeah. So that's wrong page. Oh yeah. So as you disembark, first things first, it's November, but this place is both warm and humid. It's still about like 21 plus 22 degrees, and it's just like you like breathe in and you like it almost feels like drowning at the first moment. Yeah, like the humidity must be somewhere around 80% or something. And you don't notice that the people, like, it's not super warm, but people are dressed pretty lightly, and a lot of them like appear like glistening or like drenched, not necessarily in sweat, but more like just in the pure humidity around it. And you get a feeling it's a good idea you didn't buy those bikini speedos, because you get a feeling they actually made online.
They're made here.
Yeah, and they usually come as part of a set. So I don't remember any of your characters saying they swing this way, but if they were, it would be an eye candy. The smell is human, both of humanoid body odors and smell of like underlying smell of furs and beasts. Not to the point of, oh my god, there's poop on the streets, but still just the strong feeling of, okay, there must be like some stables or kennels around, and that is amplified by just the sounds of the city, as behind all like the hum of many people talking in different languages, you do like hear screeching of tropical birds and snarling of what you assume are dogs, as well as like this low rumbling distant roars and trills of I have no fucking idea what.
Like, are beasts here not normal, right? They're not like horses and cows that drag the carriages.
You don't see like any in the port right now, and the streets are a bit too small for that. But you do like see like a guard like right up to the port, like to a group of some like merchants or whatever who are like dealing with cargo, and like shout something at them, like they show him a paper, and he's riding this bipedal creature with like long smooth tail and a long neck with a crest on top of it, and a mix of like a horse and a reptile face, with like small leg, 4 arms at the front, and it itself is like brownish red patterned coloration. It's like, no, that's looking a lot more peaceful than that and larger actually. So yeah. Also just like looking around, like there's more like lizards skittering around, you almost step on a snake. Again, looking around,
but they all seem alive, not like undead mounts that we saw on Nacht.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
You actually don't see currently many undead around.
Pale skin, dark skin, like
Beasts or people?
Nachtaffen? No, the people.
The people are mostly tanned.
Okay, so there is sunlight here, and unlike Nachtaffen.
Yeah, you see like more like white, or like white, not pale, but like just white, naturally white skin in the port of merchants. But like a lot of people like the Gartis, so their eyes are like heavily tanned, or like starting at Mediterranean, brown, and going like basically like dark skinned. Again, like a huge mix of races you're seeing around. You like actually like see this burly dwarf like walk past you. He has this leather cap on his like half mask cap on his head with just like curly, unruly hair sticking from beneath it, like an afro basically. And he has a leather vest and just like similarly like hairy chest, like just puffing from beneath it, and she's just pulling behind him, like on leashes, about like half a dozen of about like meter-long lizards that are just like going behind him, and like red, yellow, like blue, green, so like really pretty, almost like a beast for sale of some kind. You do see females around, though most of them seem to be part of the crews based on uniforms. And that's actually, Miles, the big thing you notice right now is a lot of the people in the port are sticking together and dressed similarly, like they're part of a crew or part of a faction of some kind, like of ship maybe, or noble. And you do see, no, not recognize like individually, but just by the look in their eyes and how they hold themselves, you are like, all right, those three captains are most likely a reason.
Okay.
There's definitely more a reason than you have so far seen on Nachtwaffen.
Yeah.
What's the like how erudite are these people, like tech wise?
Do they have like iPhones, Apple Watches?
Who are walking around with AR on, helmets and glasses?
Right. It is technically TL4, so
pretty good.
Yeah, you yeah. Let's say like basically like you see transactions going on. Transactions are basically like going from one device to another instead of anything. But you also see like a lot of just like cash money exchange, and there's a lot of like food stalls that are grilling. You're pretty sure like not cows or pigs here, where like just people are just like handing off like credit, physical cash credit. I assume you just like start slowly like making your way through this place, trying to get into the larger city. Yeah, but you don't find any of those, like city halls or like this is an information kiosk with a helpful lady.
Tourist information center. Yeah.
You do find. You might most likely also like recognize, like old school guild buildings, like adventurer guild buildings, like hunters lodges, all of that kind, as well as many other like similar buildings you assume or recognize based on the signs must be focusing on trade of like beasts or like weapons or whatever. So like small conclaves focusing on specific, mostly dealing with hunting or beast trade or beast breeding kind of business. But definitely like the first island you've seen so far where like literal, hey, this is an adventurers guild, come on in, kind of building is present.
Okay.
And the rest of the buildings of the housing are small windows, no glass, usually just like covered like with cloth or gauze, most likely to prevent insects from coming in. A lot of like like somebody built one story and then like popped a ladder on the side and built a second story on top, and kind of like this whole hazardous constructions that most likely gets collapsed or burned down once every few years and gets rebuilt after that. That's as far as like residential constructions. You also do see a lot of drinking establishments, though unlike the pretty specialized like bars and inns of Chariot. It is more like, here's a tavern, and here's a tavern, and here's a tavern, and here's a tavern. And maybe part of the tavern is an adventuring guild, and oh, somebody just got thrown out of the door. But also you do see a rather wide road leading from the port towards a district. And this district seems to be built a bit more organized than the rest of the stuff. And you're like passing by and you're like, oh, that's a red lights district. That's a very large red lights district. And then you're like, oh, yeah, that's like, we're not the target audience here. And oh yeah, there's a couple places that might. Oh no, that's still we're still not the target audience. All right, I mean they have ladies, but we're still not the target audience. So you get a feeling, yeah.
Trespassed, okay.
You're like, yeah, we made wrong characters to have fun here.
So I think maybe the best option is to actually go into one of these hunting guilds, adventurers guilds, and perhaps start asking about sort of creatures we could go hunt, and what is the biggest one we could go for.
I'd say I wouldn't go with that unless you want to join them for that hunt directly. I'd more ask about our different Elon Musk, you know.
I think
he might have made enough of a name for someone to point us in the right direction.
So we
to know where
abandoning the Shrike hunting.
Well, I was gonna say, on top of just like asking, we can also keep that idea for the moment and just see. We can ask the same people in the guild, hey, what are the differences between maybe us and some of these people? What are the strengths of these, vampire hunters that we know have had trouble in, rumor going even into this jungle? Then we know, are we capable of doing it, and whether that idea is even good.
Yeah, I think it's a good place to start with.
Asking around doesn't hurt, yeah. But we'll see what comes from it.
Yeah, so we'll go to the Adventurers Guild.
All right. Remember if they have. Where are you? I need more tables! Tables! I haven't opened this table in a while. And meanwhile, let's see. Okay. Right, yeah, so you walk into one of these hunting guilds, which is just full of people. A lot of them, all of them are separated mostly into groups and just going around their own business.
Groups within the guild.
Yeah, so basically adventure parties. you could say, like groups of like 3 to 7 people, or like usually like either huddled in a corner, sitting at a table drinking something, or like maybe at a desk talking to the employees. And
do any one of them, have some visible traces of magic, maybe that might be seen by me?
Maybe don't go and smell and lick them,
And what do they taste like? Yes.
I'm gonna say you see one individual who has an aura of like actual magic upon them.
Which is Wendell.
Well, aside from all of you.
I will just like give the captain an elbow and I'll like nod towards that guy. That guy at least has some magic on him, so maybe that's a capable candidate to start
Emails,
with.
actually.
That guy is gender neutral.
You actually like, yeah, you're like, especially like, yeah, that guy, because they're bald. And then the individual like turns an eye and you like see the facial features and you're like, oh, okay, that's why they have magic, because that is most likely the most obvious reason you have met so far. Well, they're bald, as I mentioned. Rather short, about like 150, very slim build, very light, with this bright yellow, like cat-like slitted eyes. Skin is light, like white gray, but you can actually like almost see like the veins and the blood flow beneath her arms. So translucent the arms, the skin might seem, or maybe the vessels are glowing somehow. And yeah, she's like surrounded by a bunch of adventurers in similar styled colored garb. Yeah.
Is there any like counter?
Yes,
or
there is a
someone
counter.
that run? Okay, so like somewhere
to yeah, and you Lance actually like sees the source of magic as she is like basically like, you know, going like this, like juggling like a coin, except it's not a coin but like like the big gemstone, and you notice that she's not juggling it with her fingers. It's hovering about like 2 centimeters above her knuckles as she's like
that's cheating
across the palm. Yeah. And that is most likely the enchantment that you, or like source of magic that you've been seeing. Yeah, so you come at a desk, like another group of adventurers just like comes off, like carrying some kind of scroll or whatever, and the desk opens. You sneak your way in and see behind the counter this gray-skinned, short creature, like small-sized creature with like deep furrowed brow, big bulbous nose, sharp ears, and the skin is not just gray in color but also in texture. Seems to be like almost stony, and it is completely bald. I don't think any of you would recognize this race. You can roll me no if you're curious about it. Maybe it'll be about like 100 centimeters tall. Very, very gnarly.
I'll roll for fun.
What do we have? Okay, actually, Bobby, you are the only one who never met this race but recognize it as a deep gnome. Called Svinferblin?
Svirngelin?
Svirfnublin.
I don't know.
Yeah. I didn't know. And it kind of looks up at you from beneath his like just like almost, it's almost like their eyes like in like set in rock. Goes, hello, how can I help you?
Greetings. We are new here in Lamia, and we would like to try our hand at this well, whatever the establishment can throw at us.
How is it nowadays? Not with the hunt ongoing. So, that's why you came, I assume.
And a drink.
Right, the drink is at another counter. Well,
God damn it.
right. Well, actually, if you're looking for some kind of bounty, you go look at the desk. That's where people usually post what they're looking for in terms of beasts for slaughter or for capture or whatever the masters require. Then you come to me and be sure it's your quest. Pass any details, and you also leave where to send your belongings in case you don't come back.
Can just about anyone take this kind of thing, or do we? Is it free for all as long as we check with you?
No, knock yourselves out. I mean, you don't even have to check it with me. You can go out, go hunting, come back, try to sell it. I mean, really, like, if you go there and find something cool and come back and see, oh, hey, it's on the board, you can take a quest after you've completed it.
Interesting.
Assuming nobody takes it before you.
You mentioned the hunting. What exactly is that event? I've heard about it, but I don't know the exact details.
Hey, well, that's surprising. Haven't you seen all the new ships, all the new shiny newcomers coming here to get devoured by the jungle just like you are? The Great Hunt, a yearly event here on Lamia, sponsored by our gracious masters. You register, you go into the jungle over a period of 3 months. You come back with trophies, you get points for the size of your trophies and their dangers. And based on your score at the end of the period, you get various rewards. Also, those beasts are usually for sale if you can return them in good quality.
And are we at the start of the hunting, or what?
How long is
this
left?
the second month?
We're about 3 weeks in.
All right. And how exactly do you have like a? Is it just the score for the trophies calculated in a certain manner, or just when you see it, you give it a? Like the Adventurers Guild gives it a certain value.
Well, we could go look on that board over there. We have like a highly approximate map of Lamia, and we have so-called threat zones marked over there, which doesn't mean that you can't find something really bad right outside of the city walls, but that's generally for newbies to judge their skills. Generally, each creature in our catalog has a threat level assigned to it from 1 to 5, and depending on threat level it is, you get a certain points. Generally just square the threat level, and that's how many points you get.
I see. And what does the winning faction or party get at the end of the event?
Oh, well, top 3 get an audience with the Marchioness and right to make a request of her. There are also generous monetary prizes, some equipment is on the desk, plus if you go for any of the triple S targets, there are like legendary artifacts rewarded for those. Plus also usually, I mean, you kind of have to get a sponsor, so your sponsor is gonna be paying you some money. Also,
You're required to have a sponsor.
Oh yeah.
Is that the local nobility?
Of course.
Or...
I mean,
okay.
That's practically a contest between the reason. Like, you get a hunting group, and if your hunting group does better than the other guy's hunting group, then you're kind of have a bigger dick than the other guy.
Except that doesn't apply, yeah.
What if we don't have a sponsor currently? could we still go on the hunts?
You can go hunting.
But not for the hunt event.
It's basically your trophies are gonna get bought if you get any, but they're not gonna get scored.
I see.
There are a lot of newcomers, and usually the reason try to hire more than one crew because there's like a limit of 30 people per reason. Usually like holds 2 to 3 average sized groups because they usually come back all or full. Plus that's kind of we have like 3 months. A lot of people going like for a week. Lose people, come back, hire more people, go in, lose half a group, come back, hire more people.
You've been through these events for quite a while, I'd assume. What percentage of people come back?
Depends on the zone. The green one, usually about a good 70% come back. Mostly because they get sick.
I see.
Yeah.
Foul water, spoiled food, or...
Oh. Don't drink in the jungle unless it comes from the sky. Yeah, foods get rotten. Don't drink the water. There's there is also crap inside of it, but they're like tiny beasts in the water. Apparently, I don't know, they're like really small. You can't see them. There's also some that you can see in it. You also shouldn't drink those. They also don't like swim in the water because those things go into your dick and that hurts a lot.
Oh boy.
We have diseases, we have poisonous plants, we have venomous plants, we have poisonous animals, we have venomous animals, we have just animals that are gonna eat you. We've got the weather, we've got the lizard man, we've got...
This sounds fun as fuck.
Yeah.
It does. What, the triple... Did you say there were triple S's?
Let me check my list of dangers. Which was, I guess, like a giant scroll of it. Right. Triple S. Yeah, that's like super, hyper, mega big monster. Well, not big, dangerous monsters that nobody has managed to kill so far.
Nobody.
Well, the reigning current ones have been around for like 15 years. The Slaughterhound has been around as long as I remember myself.
Interesting.
Do the Risen go on these hunts themselves as well, or do they're just spawns usually?
They go hunting. Yeah, I know.
Dan, you're... Okay, sorry. Didn't know if you knew.
I was switching resolution and they go hunting, but like the trophies can't get scored because again that's kind of cheating because nothing in the jungle can kill them. Aside from the Slaughterhound.
I've heard about this Shrike. Is that the Slaughterhound you refer to?
No. That's... Right. So, a Slaughterhound is a physical thing that's gonna kill you. The Shrike is a nightmare in the night that's gonna kill you.
Is it not a real beast?
I mean, like, 3 people who came back, they're all giving me a very different description. Most people found are like... yeah, we also got like those spiky trees, and that's why we call the Shrike.
I see. Interesting.
Oh, very.
Have you ever heard about this fellow called Ilonu Yong?
Oh yeah.
He also goes by Ilonu Musk.
That's he.
So we.
I'm not sure. I just heard it. I'm not sure.
Oh right. No, it wasn't Musk. It was. Was it Musk? Right. Anyway, yeah, he's a guy. He has one of the hunting groups. Works for Tsepesh, right?
Beats me, but is he a sponsor himself, or does he go and hunt?
No. He's. I mean, he tells. Well, I heard he's human.
All right, that's a start.
Yeah. His master is Tsepesh. He's the sponsor.
Who's his sponsor?
Tsepesh.
How do you write that?
Septish.
Like that.
Okay, easier than expected.
Yeah. Well,
Have I heard that name?
you can write it multiple ways. You can also write it like this. With his name. Those
Tepesh.
old ones have weird tastes. Make me a no check.
I mean, Tepesh is a known name in the vampire world. 7.
7. You heard the last name, but you can't pinpoint it. It's like, if you heard it, it's most likely somebody pretty high up on the hierarchy, but most likely not somebody from the neighborhood.
No way.
You don't by chance know if this Tsepesh still has spots open for adventurers? Parties?
Oh, if they don't have spots open right now, just wait a couple weeks. I mean, nobody really goes into the jungle for like 2 months long expedition because, I mean, you'll need to if you want to go for one of the red zones. But yeah, so a couple years ago, we've got this hunt, and top 3 groups went to hunt the Scaled Tyrant. Like really close on points, like just neck and neck, and they're like, who's gonna kill the Scaled Tyrant is gonna win the hunt. All dead. All 50. Just like, dead! So the 4th group becomes 1st group, and they've been for 3 months in the fucking green zones hunting death rabbits.
So better safe than sorry.
Well, they didn't get 1st place, they got their audience, they got some money. They didn't get much in terms of fame and respect, never seen them around again, at the very least. So, you know, it is a dick measuring contest after all.
Were there any
like
incidents?
10 1-centimeter dicks is not the same as 1 10-centimeter dick. Which is a lot in Surferblin society. A lot.
Were there any incidents since these all sorts of groups that fighting among on trophies that one group has successfully managed to hunt something very powerful that would score a lot of points, and on their way back they've been hunted down, the group itself, by another group?
Oh, well, other people get hunted down by creatures, but there is generally a prohibition on folks
attacking
folks in the jungle. It's considered unsportsmanlike. Also, there's technically a prohibition of kill stealing or trophy stealing, because if you're registering for the hunt, we're like gonna give you special marked ammunition, and we're gonna put an enchantment on your blades so that you can like know what killed this beast. Doesn't mean nobody goes around like trying to spook enemies' quarry. Like, it's very hard to prove that. But that's part of the skill. I mean, if you're stalking a prey and somebody comes out and spooks it, that's your fault. You should have attacked it sooner.
I see. But attacking other groups is shunned upon.
Generally. I'm not gonna say it never happens, especially if you have enemies, but it's generally considered unsportsmanlike.
It sounds like the
that the nobles that would take in their parties are essentially registering them and using them as, the nobles are their, proof. And if parties were fighting each other, then it makes sense the nobles wouldn't want that, because then the nobles are fighting each other. So yeah, I think it seems pretty foolproof for all this. They're putting, effort in to stop all of it.
I mean, to be completely fair, a chance of you encountering another group outside of green zone, or maybe second zone, is like, it's a big jungle! You can walk 100 meters away from another hunting party and never know about it. Unless they're getting chased by a horned one.
So how does one start in looking for a sponsor? Is there notes that are open, or like any notice?
Can we pick one?
I don't know, can you?
Is there a guy named Elonu that takes in people?
No, he's sponsored by Zepish.
I mean, if he's your friend, go and talk to him. Like, all I'm saying is you don't look like people who know what's going on here, so that look like you have many friends.
Oh, our questions are so telling, yes.
Yes, we are. First time here in Lamia.
One more question, though. How do people travel into the jungle? Is it all on foot, or on certain mounts, or like,
Well,
flying vehicles out of its bounds?
No, don't go flying in the jungle.
Interesting. Why?
Well,
being on the ground is more safe.
2 words. Pterodons and reproductors. You ever seen claws that render steel?
I don't believe I did.
That's why ships don't go too low. Like, it's not like, well, I mean,
Are
the
those the things that
Quattles
we
can
saw?
bring a ship down. Reproductors most likely not gonna take a ship down, but it's gonna be really expensive to repair.
I see. So no, don't fly above the trees.
Yes. Right, travel. We've got the river. You can take a river. The rivers hide things. Well, they do have a road going some way to the island. That's the green zone, basically. You could potentially take, like, a lot of things down there, like not too big things. A lot of people do that for their first trip because, like put a lot of food on it, or you can put a lot of water on it, you can like grab a trailer and sleep in it. Also easy to go there, easy to go back. Generally, if you're going off the road, which is where you need to go if you're doing anything serious, you'd want cold ones, or the horned ones, or honestly, I mean, you can get like horses or ponies or goats, especially if you're intending to use them for bait. They're not very suited for the climate, humid.
What were the first ones you said that are suited? The cold ones and the horned ones?
The cold ones and the horned ones.
Well, and what do those look like? What are they? Do you have? I don't think I've seen what you mean.
In the cold one, it's guards in the port ride on these like scaly things, long tail, horse head. That's a cold one.
That's a cold one.
Yeah.
What's
They also
their
live in the
advantage?
jungle, like feral cold ones. They're tameable, basically. Sorry, say again.
And the horned ones?
Oh, the horned ones look similar, a bit smaller, but they've got claws and teeth, and they eat meat.
Do they have horns?
You saw the dwarf pulling down the street.
Okay, that's probably why they call them.
No, they're like rideable. A bit smaller than a cold one, but they're really hard to tame. So,
what are the top speeds of these animals?
What's the horsepower on?
Can I
don't know which one I want to ride.
Can I drift on one through trees?
What are the movies that are that racing cars? Need for Speed, and then like Tokyo, right? So Need for Speed.
Tokyo Drift, Lamia Drift. Yeah.
Lamia Drift.
While Miles everyone's talking about this, could I be looking at that board? I want to see if someone's taking a threat 5, and then kind of read them. I think that Dal would be good at that. See if they're how good they are.
I missed a couple of that. Sorry.
What would that mean? They need
That's
to be
alright.
in the room at the moment.
Well, I figured people were walking in and out. Yeah, so it's just a board we can look at. I'll ask you in a minute. It's fine.
Sorry, I'm not 5 anymore. I don't remember my dinosaurs. I mean, it's gotta be like comparable. No, I don't think they're like as fast as horses. I don't know. Good speed. 30.
30 what?
Speed. 30 speed.
30 speed.
Time.
Excellent.
Yeah, let's say about 35-40 kilometers per hour at average cruising speed.
What's a cold one cost? Approximately. Talking 1 grand, 10,
yeah,
50.
More like cold one, right? 400 credits for 50.
Yeah, that is
or
cheap.
to 600. I mean, they're usually like go in and then nobody comes back.
Of course. Oh, I love this planet so far. It's excellent.
Well, I'm not gonna be the first to start saying that.
Yeah, I know. I imagine.
I just hope for your own sake that you will get the chance to continue saying that.
Hope so too.
Fair. If you're skilled, there's a lot of money out there. If you're skilled. You're not. Really?
Okay. Not looking to go hunting S tier, but who knows?
Yeah. Don't worry too much about. Oh no, I lied so much about the price.
No, don't say that.
Yeah.
No.
Sorry.
Is it 10 times more expensive now?
Yes.
No.
It's more like 1,000 to 3,000 credit. Now the horned one will cost you upwards 5,000 credit, or the untamed one.
Untamed. So yeah, Dan, could I have while some of that talking was going on, like looked across the room at that board, and if there was a group that was looking at the threat 5 stuff, zone 5, can Dalu just get a read on these people, see how efficient they are with their equipment, their kind of body language, physique, you know what I mean?
Sure. Roll me insight check, not just wisdom.
Sure. Would my goggles affect that or no?
Ew.
No. Okay. So.
Ew.
Niet.
So just plus 1 then. Okay.
There you go.
Great.
Come on.
4.
Right. Where is it? How much stuff open? Right. Right. Yeah. So you kind of like standing at the board, like looking at it, and you see like a guy walking up to the board, human as far as you can tell, hair kind of like braided in this like thin dreads, like braided dreads going down his head, wearing a leather vest, and it's just knife, 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 spikes. And he has this like, he's tall, like about 190, almost skeleton thing, has this like long arms, he's kind of like having this gait, and he kind of like walks up to the board, kind of gives you a glance, licks his lips, you can like see like piercing, piercing, piercing. Like looks at the board, takes a knife, stabs it into like a thread 5 paper, like almost not looking, like starts going back, and you're like, oh my god, it's so badass, so edgy, so cool. And
Then he turns
like,
to you.
Walks up to a table, and where his compatriots are sitting, and there's this like large half ogre woman with just like a red braid going like this, and like a thick stone at the end of this, which like looks down at him, looks down at his paper, gives him a giant like slap on the head, and tells him to go put it back where he took it. And you're like, and then, oh, he's not cool. Okay.
Then he discussed if you watched the latest episode of My Little Pony.
My Little Horned One.
Horned one, yeah.
My Little Horny, no.
So no one is basically taking 5 unless they're trying to pull a prank on Dalu.
Yes. But to be fair, there are like very few papers. Like there are like 100 papers, and like you read 3 of them, zone 5. And like many of the smaller zones have different kinds of like sketches or even like printed images of what you're looking for. And especially in the low zones, they're like very like colorful, descriptive, so on. You're like, oh yeah, that's very easy to understand. That's the kind of threat I'm about to face. For zones 5, they're like sketches, like creature, size about 6 to 12 meters, traveling in groups of 3 to 10. Weight up to 2 tons. Right, nice. And just like, you know, like a sketch of like something with a lot of claws, a lot of teeth, and most likely anatomically impossible. But there it is.
It sounds like so much fun.
So, do we first take up a request, or do we first try and find a sponsor?
Sponsor
first, right. Let's go find ourselves a sponsor.
I have an idea for one too.
Muted. Yeah, it's a bit of a time, but you know, another 2 months to go. But it seems like an option is to keep doing this hunt. It's one option, and we can get possibly an audience with oh crap, forgot her name again.
Can I assume we took a couple of steps away from our friend that has been telling us a lot of very interesting things? And then I'd say, like, if we can get a sponsorship from Zepesh, then if we do somewhat well, we have a decent chance of maybe knowing other crews that work for him, like Alonu and stuff. So I feel like it might be a decent avenue to go down. If we can manage to get an audience and talk to them And maybe... Also, I actually just want to do this. This seems like fun. Like, can you imagine the kind of intense advantages you have when I can just get us food and drink all of the time from right here, in comparison to the poor folk who have to carry everything along?
Carrying on a trailer. Yeah. Wow.
What's the current teleportation distance?
1,000 kilometers, so more than this island.
I really should nerf the teleportation distance because it's meant for, you know, planets which are like tens of 1,000 kilometers in circumference, and I'm making them 600. Okay, your new teleportation distance is 10 kilometers.
No, that's what I at last.
What?
Level.
Teleporting to the red zone?
No, I mean I can't. That's we'd need to get there first anyway, and that would be a month-long trip the way they described it anyway. So.
But the trip back.
The trip back is a convenient one.
Well, you definitely shouldn't expect, I think, to be able to carry any of the trophies with you. Back.
No.
Because
unless they're cut in pieces, maybe, or something like that. But
yeah, but then they're not in good condition.
You basically get this feeling that, like, there are different types of quests. Like one that are like for body parts or for just extermination. Pay a lot less, but they are easier because they like don't specify how you need to kill the creature, or like so long as you get like a prominent part of it back, you get paid. Which is, you know, like it's not easy to carry back a horn. But there are a lot of quests which pay the best is retrieve corpse in as good a condition as possible. Those pay.
Are there also quests for retrieve alive, or rarely for anything?
It's called a hunt,
There are such quests for small things. For big things, no. And if you ask your friend at the desk, like, why? He's like,
why would
I don't know. More interesting tools like cold ones and horned ones, or something like that.
Good luck. And then you can figure out how to bring a creature that weighs 10 tons here alive through the jungle.
I would try and make cold one. Let's go look for sponsor.
Like, I just get a feeling you're kind of underestimating the jungle. So, maybe ask around, read some literature, and again, you really don't need to worry about the things that move. Like, those are gonna be the last things that kill you. However, everything else, that's where most of the people live. Oh boy.
Is there like a survivor's guide pamphlet, something that you distribute here in the guild?
We could, but it would be very boring.
I see, okay.
Really, a lot of the things look at the board. The simple things, green zone, yellow zone, they have descriptions. They explain what creatures are and how they behave and so on.
Oh, do they have maps?
I told you, we have a big island.
No, but yeah, but once you're in the jungle, you probably also need a map, right?
You should have one, yeah. I mean, if you know where you are in the jungle, that's a problem, generally.
Can we get one here?
Yeah?
We do have a nav comp on the ship. It might be good enough.
Ooh.
Like, when we can bring one.
Right, here's a problem. So, you go into the jungle? The trees are like 10 meters tall. That's the small ones. When you get deep enough, they kind of really good at blocking
signal,
magical communication of any kind. Like, if your ship's in the dock, that's not going anywhere. If you have your ice stones or whatever, like, make sure you're within like a couple 100 meters of each other, because depending on the thickness of the trees, on the magical fog, on the creatures, you might not be getting any signal. You might not
Magical
be sure.
fog?
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Could you elaborate, please?
Right.
Yeah, magic fog, death, yes.
Right. So there's this blue mist thing. I don't know where this comes from, but it just like appears. Covers like usually an area of a couple 100 square meters. And
I see where you got your tables from, yes.
some of them. Some
Yeah,
of them.
I did the exact same for the German campaign,
Why
that's
wouldn't
why.
And yeah, basically like it gives you a magical disease and you start seeing things.
Not good.
I see. Boy, we have a lot cut out for us out there.
I messed around. Your realistic travel distance would be 50 kilometers with your teleportation. 45 to 50 kilometers.
50.
If we go by Earth, basically, that's what you mean, right?
Earth diameter, like max distance to max distance on the island, 600. Yeah, so 45 to 50.
What is Earth diameter?
12,780.
That's not accurate. You should look Earth's circumference because islands are flat, Earth is not. Like right now.
Yeah, but
excuse me? Are you saying Earth is not flat?
Wait a minute.
Like on an island, 1,000 kilometers gets you from like one edge of the island to another edge of the island. On the Earth, it's like.
Yeah, but if you
I mean, actually, no. Yeah, you're correct. Yeah, you're correct. Okay. To be fair,
the Earth is flat. You know.
If you don't have your 1,000 teleportation range, this would make this a lot more fun because it would not remove.
To be fair, if you make it 50, it's still not much of an issue. Because I have unlimited jumps,
yeah,
I can still get all of the food all of the time. I can still get us out. I have like 6 jump with people, so I can still get us out of a lot of shit, and I can always get us stuff basically. So it's still.
It takes out the travel back. That's what it takes out.
No, I don't. I think it takes out supply during.
Supplies.
It doesn't.
Water
it doesn't take out the travel back. I think that's the one part it does not take out.
We can. You're saying we could take a room in an inn, and then like throughout the day just travel, teleport back, sleep in the inn, and then jump back there.
Technically, we could just sleep in our ship every night.
Yeah, that's cheesing. Okay.
I mean,
it's definitely what you would do with this teleportation.
Go ahead. I just would like to tell you, if you make a Lyman's tiny hut in the middle of a dungeon, doesn't mean you're gonna be very happy people in the morning.
Yeah. Or you'll be attacked by dispelling yetis.
Dispel yetis.
I mean, it doesn't work here, that part.
Why yetis?
We were in an ice terrain in the mountains, and we set up a Lehman's tiny hut while we were trying to cross them. And then we were always afraid of the Dispel Yetis coming for our tiny hut. It was good. And they actually came.
He actually came, yeah.
Oh my god.
That was a good one.
Look, if my party memes about Dispel Yetis for a couple months, I cannot not give them Dispel Yetis.
It was a good encounter.
Oh.
Right. So let's go try and find a sponsor.
Let's go take a break.
That too.
Plan and come back for a sponsor.
Excellent.
Right, in that case, we're back. And yeah, I think you guys were planning about finding sponsor. Maybe the sponsor.
By the way, this episode of Tales of Aether is sponsored by
Children's Encyclopedia of Dinosaurs.
One Day.
Nice.
Yeah, let's go and find a sponsor. How would we go by and do such?
How do no, the real question is, how do we find Zepesh? And how do we go about contacting them?
And do we reveal our identity?
Ooh.
Maybe.
Well,
It will be necessary.
Become public.
Maybe.
Miles, you think it's like would be a good idea at that point to at least remove the illusion, because if Zepesh is
Yeah, you can see it.
As old as you imagine, which is at least more than 100.
Yeah, well, first we gotta find him.
So, what's the plan?
Contacts?
Contacts!
Right, to the red light district. No?
No.
Aww.
Okay. Only thing I can do is to just maybe look up some information about where we could go and actually knock on someone's door, maybe his door, and just go straight there. I don't know what else I could do.
Gonna try something less direct. And I'm gonna look up my fucking academy calendar of blessed names. That almost everywhere there seems to be some fuck with academy background. And you know, maybe there is one
my name
on
is
here.
Dao. You're my brother. Prepare to die.
So I will try and go through my list of contacts and see, or through the academy database and see if there's anyone around here that I might know from a long ass time ago. 9. Could be worse.
9. Let's say with a 9, you do have a name, but it's a woman. And you wouldn't say that you're close friends.
I didn't understand that part because
you wouldn't say that you're close friends.
Okay. Captain, I need your advice.
Wouldn't say that at all.
But like we just didn't know each other very well. You're not saying there was something hateful. Okay.
If you want to go there, that's up to you.
We'll see. Captain, I need some advice. There's one person on this list that seems to be residing here. And, you know, it's sort of the year or two below you at the academy, so you sort of know of them, but you don't know them per se.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
someone you never spoke with.
Not really, no. I think, you know, it's really you know of them and what kind of things they maybe do and who they hang out with, if any one of them interests you. But other than that, it's been a long while. It's been over 10.
How packed was the Adventurers Guild?
Oh, very packed.
Very packed? How big? Is it like a stadium?
No. Like the building is. Remember the dimensions of my room. 10 meters wide, 10 by 10. Let's go there.
10 by 10.
Which is like a smallish restaurant sized. At least that's what like was on the first floor. There was like a half floor on the second one, but that's most likely in any case like offices
and that arisen that we saw in there, she's probably a sponsor, right? She sponsors.
Likely, like you. That's well. I mean, she could be a sponsor. You're not sure, honestly, like because you have a feeling that some reason might come here to sponsor. Some might come here to just observe because they don't have money for sponsors. Maybe like some reasons that have their own crew could come here and send their crew to do a thing, but like again, if you don't have a large enough crew, then that's just wasting money and people.
Okay.
By the way, Selim, do you have a more detailed description for me? Race, name, description, personality?
He's got someone from studies.
Yeah, give me like a minute or two.
Pulling up his German backstory folder.
Excellent idea, thank you. This may be better.
Yeah, Miles, you were...
I'm thinking about just going in and going to one of the groups and asking them how did they come by a sponsor. Asking them, and if how does one get to a sponsor?
I wanna assist him. Yeah, are we still in the bar? No, are we?
We're like around the guild.
Let's buy them around. I think that always works.
So
I really want to drink.
I don't know. I go to one of the groups.
Okay.
One of the captains. That is not an arisen.
Okay. So like,
is there?
Are you looking like for small group, mid-sized group, large group?
Small group. Like I don't know if there's like ours, but like our size. Excuse me. Hello. Hi.
1 second. Okay. Yeah, you come to like a smallish group of 4 people, and hey, hello, hi, and the closest figure just kind of like turns like this to you, and you see the face of female Sphinx Tabaxi, basically.
They're all female? Okay.
No, this one is particularly female. The one that turns
Oh.
towards you. Look! Don't make me generate 4 characters on the spot, okay?
No. Okay.
Can I like start with 1? And you got a feeling like it's nice. She's bold, so she's doing better here. And you see like a set of golden, like clip piercings in her ear, like a big like jewel on one ear, no on the other one. She turns, there's like pretty nasty like scar claw mark around like one of her cheek, going like around her mouth, which is partially hidden in the wrinkles like like sphinxes have, but still visible. Most likely like some kind of magical like potion healing was used, because otherwise it would be never. And she has this like big blue eyes stare you as she goes, yes.
Hi. You seem like a very experienced hunter, and you've been on these kinds of events before, and I was just wondering...
Huntress, thank you very much.
Oh, Huntress. And sorry, I'm new here in Lamia, don't know if you can tell. And I was wondering if you could help me by... How does one get a sponsor?
Well, usually one goes into the jungle, and one performs very well over a period of some time, at which point one has a reputation sufficient to offer their skills to a sponsor. Though you usually would want a crew of significant size. Many small groups don't mesh well together.
What kind of how many are we talking about in a group?
Depends on the zone. At least 7 is the number you need to cover all the spots.
I see. And what kind of difficulty? I know it ranks from like the green zone and it goes up to
Right.
what? Yes. What's a zone that's good for a beginner's crew? Of course, the green. But after that, what will actually get us reputation with a sponsor?
It depends what you're aiming for. If you're in it for some money, you could go up to orange.
Or is that the one before
3.
the? Okay, so that's.
If
you heard
you're
about?
looking for a winning place, you really need to go for. I'm not sure what this color is. It's like red orange.
Burgundy.
That.
Can I have the colors?
Blood orange.
Blood orange. Okay.
Yeah, it's called red orange, literally. Yeah.
Red orange. Okay.
Actually, yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah, give me the colors.
Actually, let us take. Oh fuck! Sorry now. Let us take a short setback as I show you the hastily and shittily made map of Lamia.
Well, that's not shitty at all.
Looks nice.
What the hell? Yeah, it's really.
This
nice.
map
Oh,
sponsored
I
by
can't see it.
Lucas. Because
Nice.
he gifted me the Wonder Draft map maker for not having missed a single session on his campaign. This is the proof of my only achievement in life.
Okay, I'll get a screenshot.
Actually, I should give you a handout. Yeah, that would be a good idea. I'll get you a handout. Like, I'll put a map on.
It's on the hand.
I should just do it. Handout!
Oh shit!
Maps.
I can kind of see it. Why can't I scroll down? Oh my god!
Sucks.
Oh, cool.
So what's the green zone is large, and then there are a couple of orange zones at the border.
No. That's just the coloration of the map.
Okay, I was wondering if it's different from that.
Yes, 1 second. It would load eventually, I assume. Right. So, just like generally, Lamia is Lamia, surrounded by a wall. You go into the jungle, you see the river. That's the big lake you saw from the ship, and the mountains. This is a road that was mentioned by Herblin, the deep gnome, and by the way, the map is to scale if you use it.
Boss.
The red routes are lizardmen trails. No matter where they are considered red. Kitaks and Zlanlupitek. No. I had in my head.
Zlanuhapik.
Looking for the first.
Could you put a picture in Discord? Just, this is too hard. Could you put like a screenshot?
I can do that as well. Oh, you did that already, but
there is a screenshot in Discord.
Yeah,
full quality. No, not that. That's a different thing. Yeah. Full quality map. I can consider give you even a better quality map, but I didn't upload it because otherwise it's too heavy. Those are okay, sure. Also, I made a handout Lamia on road. Oh yeah, that one is good quality if you open it up. I'll put it into notes and records. Go, Lamia. Okay, so Kitax and Zdanlepek are lizardmen villages, town, places. Again, like really dangerous places. And that's pretty much the only towns or populations that are on this map. Well, there are some ruins that you can see, like.
Wait, those places are actually inhabited, Kitax and Clanhupek?
By lizardmen.
By lizardmen, but so that automatically makes them red, right? Danger zones.
Yes, yes. And now,
Danger zone.
I show you my overlay, which I couldn't make in a very good way, so it is this. You will be able to see the distribution of the zones.
That's a penis.
Moment.
It took all of 1 second.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll send a screenshot for this now.
A screenshot of the penis, yes.
I accidentally misaligned the map. Give me a moment. I think this is... Okay, this is better.
By the way, Miles, you might want to say, please, and I came from my lady. Just
you mean the green bifurcated snake penis? Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I see it now, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's a lot more red than I thought, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, the red is
Nice.
primarily because of the following.
The triple S.
Yes, locations of the known triple S creature. And so that you kind of generally aware of the layout, I think I should switch to this overlay, which kind of shows you the threat zones and kind of shows you the map.
Okay,
I don't know. I thought about making it on the map itself, but then it became unreadable, so I did a separate layer. And it's not pretty, but it does the job.
And which one? So which triple S corresponds to which monster?
So in the Headhunter's jungle is the domain of the scaled tyrant, the Dread Saurian. The Dread Saurian itself is like a species of just like giant apex reptiles that live here. And the Scaled Tyrant is just like the largest known albino example of such creatures.
This was the one that was destroying ships that are flying too low, right?
No. Those are being destroyed by like flying creatures. The Scaled Tyrant...
I think synced Jurassic Park would be my first guess from what I heard.
No. This is more like... I'm trying to give you an example. So imagine a T-Rex and then about 3 times as long. It's like, it's not a bipedal beast, it's a quadrupedal, and it's like several dozen meters long. I don't have a size for it, but it's giant, and that's basically like why it is so dangerous, because it's just like big hulking beast that its scales can be barely penetrated even by like heavy weapons. So like you need to be very skillful at your shots and like aim for the eyes or whatever like weak zones it might have while it's trying to eat you, and everything is shaking. So yeah.
Okay.
That's the thing that wiped out the top 3 teams. the Mirror of Zepok, like between Mirror of Zepok and of the Temple of Skulls. That's like in the mountains, in the hill mountains, there are the caverns where the Jabber Slice has. So the species is called this. Against the species and where the Dread Saurians are like just giant lizards, which are as natural as a giant lizard creature can be. Jabber Slice is like, people are still arguing whether it's a natural creature or a slow experiment. Arguments for it's a natural creature is, well, they can breed and propagate. Arguments for it's a Slavic experiment is, have you seen that fucking shit?
Okay.
It's a large size, like ogre-sized, toad-like, toad simian creature, bloated, technically with 6 legs, although like the middle legs are like small, almost insect-like legs. It has 2 sets of jaws, like one of them is inside, like alien, goes out. It has vestigial wings, which don't really do anything. It has spiked tail. And the big issue about them is they are very hard to preserve, impossible to take alive, because their stomachs contains very heavily acidic liquids, and as you fight it, basically, like if you puncture it, it dissolves itself. And that's also what it uses to dissolve others. And the triple S creatures over there is this Jabber Slice Broodmother, which is again like a big old lady thing. Also, they're like sharks, they're like live births but in eggs. It's really disgusting. If you go fight it, I'll show you a picture.
Okay, are we thinking? Are we committed to doing like one of these to get attention, to get a sponsor?
No, we're just listening.
I just want to hear.
Okay.
Yeah, we just want to hear.
For the
So-
record, the Martianess for the slaughter of the Broodmother, slaughter, not capture, but slaughter of Broodmother, aside of a giant prize pool, which I haven't come up with, she literally offers the Warpole Sword.
The what?
The Warpole Sword.
What's that? It's a sword. What is
That's
it? I
a
need
legendary
it.
D&D item where you hit somebody, there's a chance you just cut the head off and they die.
Googling it now.
Like just like knows the level of reward for the slaughter of the Dread Tyrant. You get the armor of Midnight Scales, which is like an ancient Arisen legendary like armor artifact, which is enchanted with winds of magic to protect the wearer from the awfulest of wounds. Now the blood swamps, they're not the blood swamps because they're like blood covered. It's more like they are red because of like some kind of what they called, the same shit that flamingo live in, microorganism or like shelled creature, whatever.
Microbes and algae
and algae and so on. So that's why the color is. But it's very aptly named because of the existence of Ulfgander. I think that's how I spell it. The Slaughterhound. Now, it is not a hound. It is called a hound because it is vaguely canine in shape. It's supposed to be about the size of like a bison. Many-limbed, many-mouthed, many-talent. Slaughter incarnate. It travels its area, kills anything that enters it, and it doesn't feed on it. It feeds on slaughter and carnage itself. There is that it is a weapon of the Slavic people, like a bioweapon created to just murder for the sake of murder. It is, as far as people can say, immortal, because it has existed for a very long time, at least for 100 years. They think it's only one creature. It has never been seen wounded or anything. It has killed untold amount of adventurers. It has never been satiated. Some people say it's a cursed creation of some gods, like an avatar of a god, of slaughter or carnage or whatever. The only circumstances where I will show you it's a picture is if you go fight it, and like there's no debate. It's not natural. It is not natural. Like at best, it's an aberration. At best.
Let's start with hunting bunnies in the green zone. How about that?
Where's the brood mother again?
It's
Top
the frog
left.
one.
Above the Temple of Skulls.
Yeah. Where the dragon
That's
drawing
the Jabba Slice guy. Thing.
Yes.
is.
That's the okay. That's Big Toad. Okay.
Yes, the big toad.
The Vorpal Blade. There's only one.
Indeed. The one. I did write it correctly. Okay, one.
Okay, so I was in the middle of conversation with her, with a Tabaxi lady huntress, head huntress.
Yes, we kind of got distracted.
Yes, and I just need colors, but this was kind of cool.
No problem.
Kinda? It was cool. It is cool.
I think I totally misspelled the name of the slaughter hound, but
Wolf Dumbler. Yeah, so in order to impress patrons, gotta go to Zone 4.
Yeah, 4, not 5. Oh, those things look nasty.
We don't want to just jump straight into it, Zone 5.
No.
No.
Naturally, I had to Google names. Oh.
I'll keep it as a surprise.
I really advise not to look it up, but
No? Okay, sorry.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you spoiled yourself already.
For one,
no,
yes.
I didn't.
Which one? Jabber's Life?
Yes.
Well,
Right,
you're not
so-
sure
I mean,
which...
I won't read anything, so I
Also,
just
you're
want to
not
look
sure
at
which
pictures.
one of the images I'm using, because there are many of them. Obviously, I use the nice taste. Anyway.
Any survival tips for a new crew?
Don't go.
At all.
Well, start by going there and spending some time in the jungle. It's a whole its own beast in survival. There are ways to get food, there are ways to get water, the ways to avoid diseases, and oh yes, do buy insect repellent. It would quite depressing to catch disease after a night in the jungle.
I'd imagine. And if you don't mind me asking, who's your patron?
We don't have one. Our group is a little bit small in size. And truth be told, the jungle is getting more dangerous during the hunt. We're taking it safe.
Have you heard about Zepish?
Sounds like a reason.
He's a sponsor, apparently, but I guess you couldn't tell me anything about him?
I'm afraid not. But there, Uptown is a special place. Hard to get in there even for somebody with my genitalia.
And have you heard about Ilonu Young, perhaps?
I have heard that name. He is a beast mender, I believe.
What could you tell me about him?
One of the few boys that get access to the pretty place. Scientist, I believe. Studies the creatures in the jungle. I'd say you really have to be really crazy to go there, not for the sake of money, but of knowledge.
So he goes on hunts, but he doesn't hunt?
No, that's not what he's famous for. I know he made the Martians very happy with the few beasts he has spliced.
And those... What could make the Martians very happy is only the Triple S kind of monsters, is it not?
Oh, the pain. I'm sure they always want corpses of good quality. Animating any of the killed ones makes for a powerful soldier.
Oh, now it makes sense why to bring their corpses in good condition. I see.
They're the ones that pay best money for it, yes.
Interesting.
And you can aim lower. On the herbivores, they make good beasts of burden. That's basically what you saw in Nachtrafen.
No.
Dinosaur skeletons!
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Well, thank you. You're very helpful.
You're welcome.
Good luck on your hunt.
Good luck on yours. I'll be looking out for your name.
What is your name, by the way? Random generate, go.
My name's Paulina the Scar-Faced.
Fitting.
Yes, I earned it.
Did you get that in one of the hunts in the jungle? Or is that from somewhere else?
We stumbled upon a pack of striders. I didn't quite dodge one of them.
But I'm guessing they're in much worse shape.
I'm pretty sure they're doing quite well in the stables. Getting fed a lot better than I am. That's for sure. At least after I spent all the money. Like she can after my touches her tail and you see that she has a couple more piercings with gems on her tails. It seems she likes shiny things. And
Interesting.
kind of spends money not in the best way. Though looking around, their equipment is not Bobby level quality of equipment, but I mean it's good, solid, equipment that looks like it's well maintained, it's in good condition, it's of good quality. So at the very least, the group seems to have moderate success.
Alright. The name is Miles.
Miles.
And yeah, good luck. I'll go back to the group and I'll say, okay, we gotta start killing a bunch of boars and leveling up. Basically, to get a patron, we need to go to the jungle first to prove ourselves, and then the whole vicious cycle repeats itself.
Yeah, but maybe we can skip a step or two there with your letter. Or I found this contact. This is Ronya that I may have told you about. And I can really see why she came here. From what I know, she was, she really wants to prove herself. She has some daddy issues. Her dad was a very rich merchant. I'm not exactly sure what he was really trading in, but he's supposedly very rich. She comes from a very rich background, and I suppose she's trying to expand the business or something. Not sure why she's here exactly, but she's always had a lot to prove, and she's been very business-minded even in school. So
yeah,
we could maybe send her a message and see what kind of
response. You said you met in the academy. Is she like you?
Met is a difficult word, but no, she's not. She wasn't in the psychic category. I mean, the academy takes all sorts for different kinds of courses, and she was a lot smarter than I'll ever be, that's for sure. But I don't think she had any magical talents, not that I knew of, at least.
Well, sure, if you feel confident enough to send a message and see how.
I mean, that never hurts. It doesn't need confidence. It doesn't hurt to try.
You never ghosted her or anything like that, have you? You never ghosted her or had.
I barely know her. But she was a couple of she's a couple of years younger, classes down. So I know of her. I don't know her really. Just
Sure, let's try.
I'll type her a nice message.
Yeah, let's try and find a way to skip. But if not, I don't think it's too bad to try and dip our toes first in the waters before we go diving.
Can you type out her name somewhere and race?
Yes. I'll do it in Roll20 in a sec.
Well, hell. I sure as shit ain't gonna dive.
By the way, just a word of warning. If zone 1 through 5 is using stars without number creature templates, the triple S creatures is me going into D&D and taking a creature and homebrewing it and splicing it and dropping it on top of it. So there's gonna be an alternative of going like D&D double deadly. Which I'm pretty sure, considering your damage output, you're gonna surprise me as usual, but just as a warning, they're not there as a quest, they're there as a challenge.
Okay. So like 4 shots from Bobby?
More like 5.
5, okay.
Yeah. If he manages to make them.
Yeah, if he lives through the turns.
Because legendary actions, multi-attack, all of that's gonna happen. Oh, that's literal chip on her shoulder?
Not literal, no.
Oh, it would have been funny. Ronia, Arjanazi with a chip on her shoulder. Yeah. Also, by the way, I misspelled Lamia on the map, but whatever. Let's say there are multiple pronunciations depending on the
I wasn't sure if this one here is mispronounced or if the star map is wrong.
I would have preferred LAMBIA. That would have been nicer.
Okay. Star map is generalized common. With an H is like a reason. Local dialect.
Fancy is
This is Lamia.
Did you say, Jimmy?
I said it should be spelled LAMBIA.
What?
Yeah.
Like lambs to the slaughter, yes, it works, yes.
So,
I'm just gonna type up a message for Ronya, like in the sense of not literally, hey,
hey, what are you up to? Netflix
it's no, I'm not including that. Hey, it's Lance from the Academy. And then go on that I saw her list in the Academy database, that she's around here, and I was wondering if she'd like to chat because we're looking to go hunting around here, and if she has any tips for academy compatriots or whatever you want to call it, colleagues, even though I never graduated, but whatever.
Maybe
doesn't hurt to
know.
try. Maybe she doesn't know, maybe she doesn't care, maybe she didn't graduate herself, I don't know, but she probably did.
Yeah, you send it off.
Yeah, I'll just wait after that. Yeah.
Before I forget, as I keep forgetting, this should have technically happened during your jump, but you would have gotten a nice tone message from Gordon informing you that second.
Gordon, haven't heard from him in a while.
That Chrono Vasiliadis has been intercepted by them trying to enter the anomaly they currently observe. He was carrying a Slavic device, navigational design, and seems to be not quite himself.
What did he try to enter?
The anomaly up Galactic North, from where the notes say all of these people came.
If you're thinking,
Dalo, he's completing your quest before you are.
Way ahead
I
of you.
think that if he's not feeling like himself, like come on, you saw what happened when we talked to him, right? It's on my mind all the time.
That
You
he
saw
was
what
the
happened.
one. Yeah.
He was crazy, and then he just went back to normal and said that he couldn't remember it. I mean, he's there's something going on, and I think he's some puppet. I'm not even gonna think about it.
Have you met any other of the clones? Maybe they're all like that.
Well, no. Okay, just hold on a second. We'll see when we meet this guy. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see when we meet him.
Well, that's an interesting.
Theory.
While you're doing Wino's backstory, Chrono was going towards the end game. While you were doing side quest, Chrono was going towards the end game. While you were trading shitty Gucci bags, Chrono was going towards the end game.
Yeah.
So the academy intercepted him. So that means they have him in custody?
It appears to be like that.
Okay.
Is it not
I find
allowed?
that interesting with the... out of game, I can't remember who it was, but on the note, there was an elven woman who he was connected with, and I thought was related to the academy. Maybe I'm wrong. That we questioned him. I asked him about this woman, and I don't think he could even remember who this person was. He didn't even know. But there was some connection to this person, which I was like, you started acting weird and getting obsessed with this goal of yours after this time of speaking with this person, and then you just went on this quest of some sort. If I'm right, and maybe I'm wrong, if I'm right and that woman is with the academy, and assuming this theory is a puppet, right? I don't know, is correct. Why would the academy be after him or stop him doing something? Doesn't make any sense.
I think he was with the elves, no?
He was with the elves.
He was with the elves.
Okay. So
I have no idea what you're talking about. That sounds like a wonderful and incredible backstory, but
Direction.
I have no idea who it belongs to.
Well, I guess I'll send back a message, and it probably is going to take a long while. But thank you for the update. Would very much appreciate any more information you gather from him and the device he was carrying.
Alright, so Lance, like about half an hour later, you get a Thankfully, emoji has not been invented in this setting yet.
No, unfortunately.
No. But if they were, they would have been in the message. And it's a very excited message going like, "Hey Len, so good to hear from you. Like finally some educated presence on Lamia. Of course, like happy to go meet you. Let's get drinking. I've got this really nice place. See you there at 7.
Like, show this to the others. I'm very confused. I'm pretty sure this is the first time I've ever talked to her and I didn't even talk to her.
Well,
but I'll be there at 7.
You got what you wanted. Yeah, you got what you wanted. She's a bit over enthusiastic, but you got what you wanted.
Indeed. A trap. It's a trap?
A trap? What would it be a trap for?
I don't know, it's too nice.
Yeah, it does seem overly nice, but maybe she is that way. Who knows? How old is Miles?
That was at 7 today.
How old is Miles? Just say.
Yeah, it's 7 today. Yeah.
Okay. He was born in 440. What year is this? 7-1. So he's 31. He's my age. For one more day.
Okay, you're not old enough to fulfill daddy issue needs. Winnel, how old are you?
When I was your age, I had 2 children and
I
was walking 30 kilometers every day.
Definitely FBI after that end. Winnow's like 50 or what?
Bobby's definitely old enough.
But Bobby's also a robot, sort of ish.
Robot daddy.
That might work.
Bobby is more like grandfather age at this point.
Why are we discussing age?
And Dal is what, like 2 years old, 3 years old?
Physically 3 years old or something.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
Well, what is this? Why are you talking about daddy issues? Is it for this woman? You're trying to... What? You're trying to get the right image across? Trying to get the right person
just just planning on, using sympathies where they might be found. Miles has a talent for that.
Which department was Ronya studying at?
Can you give me a recap of the departments?
Well, I mean, which school of meta magic?
No magic school. I mean, you said the academy takes all kinds, right?
Yes. So she's not a spellcaster of any kind.
No, she's not a spell. And where I said she wasn't one. I think she comes. I mean, you can always change. She could have changed it up. That's always up to you. But I was imagining more along the reasons, for example, that Albert himself may have gone to school, or
Who?
Albert?
Fuck.
Albert was the head honcho. What?
What?
Albert.
Head what?
Wait, who are we talking about?
The king of Aldana.
Yeah, okay. He was the head honcho. He was the king.
Yes, but he also went to basically to a school just for the philosophy and the history and the general education.
Okay.
And when he went to the White Tower, that's what I mean.
Okay.
So that's what I sort of meant.
Yeah, she could have studied gender studies and then came to Lamia to further her research.
Okay. So I'll be meeting her at 7. If anyone wants to come, probably, maybe Miles.
Should we? Is this the kind of meeting you bring your other 4 weird friends?
Maybe not 4, but just 1,
Just 1. All right.
The captain. The handsome captain who's looking to leave a mark on Lamia.
Ain't that handsome.
You ain't handsome right now. You want to turn back?
I mean, Miles, come on. They're paying good money for those trophies.
yes, perhaps you can just drop the.
I mean, you're all
face
gonna
swap
cringe
then.
real hard, but you know there die beavers in those rivers. Thank you, thank you. Anyway.
Nice. So while we, and by we I mean me and Lance, and perhaps Bobby for cock blocking, go and meet his friend from the academy, what do you guys want to do?
I really need a drink.
I mean, you can all technically go drinking to the same place, just as separate groups.
We could get a drink at this same place where we're meeting Lance's contact, but we'll just be at the other side of the.
Oh, perhaps.
I literally
Perhaps you
just
can-
said that.
Perhaps you can inquire about survival gear that we'll probably have to purchase and get, and perhaps acquiring a map and all that.
Oh,
sort
actually,
of
well,
stuff.
what were we thinking? You know, if we're doing this, and we're heading to, what's the name of the area? Well, where the creatures with the acid, sort of bags or stomachs inside of them. We
No,
want
that's
some
the-
kind of.
It's a brood mother. That's.
Yeah, but there's creatures. No, hold on. There was creatures underneath a certain creature where one was just tougher than the others. That was at the north of the island.
Yeah, he means the normal kinds, not the brood mother. You know,
yeah,
like
exactly. So we would want some acid protection. We can go look for that while Lance is meeting this woman.
Yeah, you can also go buy some of that insect repellent that was talked about, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So we can. I don't know how large that shit is, but.
If you'd like, I'll sort that out. Just need some money from the ship, and I can get some of this.
Oh, yeah, I can give you the card
The permissions.
for our
The company
system.
card.
Yeah, basically.
But
ask for receipts, please.
Also look into if they have any sturdy kind of tenty thingies that we can bring along, or something like that may make the nights a little safer or whatnot. I don't know.
And a lot of medical supplies. I
some
assume we'll need them.
Like medical supplies too.
Medical supplies. Well, you have Winnel with you. He probably does.
Yeah.
Right, Winnel?
My name's Yargren for now. Please.
What?
Yeah.
Your name's
What's the name?
Yargren Everstout. That's my name.
Yarger.
Well, Yarger, you just holler your.
That's not my name, but that's all right.
Yargern.
Yargren.
Yargrin.
Well, Yargren, you just holler your sorry ass with Dalu.
I ain't mumbling, so that's on
you. You ain't mumbling.
Oh, you mumbling, bro. You mumbling.
That's some mumbling if I've ever seen one.
Well, yeah, you can come with me, Everstout, and yeah, we'll get some medical supplies too.
I like where this is going. We're a Western now.
Pop along with me, young feller. Come on, kiddo, let's go get some
Lucas wrote, "You better wipe your grin off your face."
Look at that man. He's in bed in terrible pain, unable to stand up, and still he's making puns.
Is it called a stand-up comedy if he's lying down?
Oh.
Well, I definitely might need to lie down after that joke.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yep. Low blows. Okay.
Nah. Right. Let's go on the double dates kind of thing. I'm a third wheel.
Double date?
No, you're the first wheel.
I'm the first wheel?
You're assuming she's bringing a friend?
No.
No, I'm a third wheel. I'm assuming I'm the third wheel.
We'll see what happens.
So, Lance, how have you been doing? Oh, I can pilot really well.
Right. So, here we go. Traveling a little bit up down, and this place is just like really claustrophobic. Like the streets take very like weird twists and turns, and like there's a bunch of alleys where you like end up in almost a dead end, and kind of like have to backtrack or like squeeze between like two buildings through like a narrow pathway. A couple people do like try to cause some trouble, but the two of you talk your way out of that or out of there.
No, never mind.
You're not with them to destroy the charisma skill check.
No, he contributes. He's a +2, right?
Not right now.
Okay.
You like start to understand that the location you were given is actually in the direction of the pretty town. How I'm gonna call it, sure.
Pretty town.
Pretty town, yeah. And
the Cloud District.
Yeah, and actually the Bat District. And actually, as you enter a certain road, you're like, oh, okay, this is like the first road aside from the red light district where we can see like 100 meters ahead of a straight road, and actually like in the distance you can see the like tall beautiful like worked stone, carved stone with towers, walls of the Bad District, or as they call it, the Bad District. And the place you are going for is kind of like in the shadows of the walls. That's like by 7 the sun starts setting a little bit. Here the people like dressed a bit better. You might recognize a few more like a reason, like instead of like I saw in a reason like in 10 minutes, I'm like I can like count multiple on one hand right now walking around me. Though all of them are still dressed in a way that implies they are out of town or like visiting, not from the really cool place. So far, you Miles have not seen anyone you assume is from the Bat District.
Is from the what?
From the Bat District.
Okay.
Sure, it's canon now. I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
And as you come to a place, you actually get to see the gates into it. And on the street, you do actually start seeing some undead guards marching around. Still basic skeletons, though these ones are equipped in, like shiny metal like weapons and armor, but they're like polished, they're clean, like look ornamental and ancient, like almost like Bronze Age armor. But hey, at least it looks more presentable than the ones you usually see. And they're like usually like walking in unison, just like marching, like just like a band in groups of 6, just patrolling the streets. But coming up to that building, you see the gates into the Bat District. Tall, like unnecessary tall, thin gates, just like covered in marble and granite, just like make a sort of a pattern on them. And the gates are open, but nobody's approaching them out of the people going on the street. And you see at those gates, first you see a couple groups of what you assume are whites attending to some kind of lizard doggies. They're like dog-like in body structure, but like with the head of a reptile, and like instead of having like soft puppy paws, they have like bipedal clawed legs. Their bodies covered like reddish rusted iron scales, They have like some bony spikes on their back and this like frill on the bottom of their lower jaw, which kind of like occasionally like thrills, and as one of them yawns, I can like see bifurcated tongue and just rows of sharp teeth. And these whites, they're basically like having like about a dozen of these hounds for now on basically like on leashes, gates. And you also see two very imposing, like almost 2 meter tall, full plate armored figures. The armor itself, the armors, is like old school metal steel plate mail, like you've seen 100 years ago. Obviously enchanted or whatever, because otherwise it wouldn't really work nowadays. And they are incredibly ornamental with like serpent and bat motif. Both figures are holding like these giant halberds, like on one hand, not crossing them, but still at tension. And you, Miles, get a good feeling those might actually be like low rank charism. And these are definitely ladies from the bed down, because the armors are functional. You think they will hold in combat, but there is very intentional exaggeration of the shapes of the armor to basically make bookplay.
Okay.
Like basically like Warhammer 40k, like Sisters of Battle.
Yeah.
Most likely, like there's nothing inside. It's just like metal to look like it. It's basically like those like abs armor. Like it works, it protects. It's made on purpose.
Okay.
Yeah. And like those two guards also guard the gate, and like yeah, that's fine. Nobody's getting in there if they are not meant to be in there. But you like turn to the side, go into that place. It's a bar restaurant. What you've seen so far, it's very upscale. People here are actually wearing clothes, and the conversation is rather quiet. You don't see like anybody being openly drunk around. You Lance, like you ask like, who are you? Do you have a reservation? You're like, well, I'm meeting my friend Ronya, and they're like, yes, she is. Actually, let me escort you and get you to a small cabin place where you he can like sitting with the compound Ronya, who I'm not sure if you remember how she might have looked in college, but she has definitely had. You're pretty sure she didn't look like this, because yes, she's got the red hair, but she cut them short, like pretty short, like almost boyish short, and they're like a little bit like spiked, like with like some kind of gel or whatever to like hold up a little bit. She's got very intricate like eyeshadows, like like painted actual, like some kind of like pattern or whatever eyeshadow. You see like some you're not sure if it's actual gems, but like something like glued to a couple of your fingernails. Not like all of them gaudy, but like just like a couple gems on one of them. That's just like typing at her device, and like hearing your arrival, she kind of like looks up, and like her face goes into this wide smile, kind of like another gem on a fang, and she goes, "Oh, Len, so glad to see someone from the academy in Lime after all. It's just, I mean, this is a wonderful place, but just
so few from the academy
here. Indeed.
Yes, I saw. I was checking the list, and you really seem to be the only one that's on here, the lone adventurer.
That is me. Nobody appreciates what I do here, but it is so good to see you after this many years, she kind of like stands up and like gives you like
friendly hug. Yeah.
It's a bit more touchy than would be friendly. Like she's being overtly friendly, but it's not too.
Can I introduce you? This here is my friend Miles, and he's since I told you I was going to be asking you a couple of questions about hunting, maybe he's the captain of the crew I'm with, and he's not academy, but he's had his fair share of education around here.
Pleasure to meet you.
Charmed. I'm Ronya.
Pleasure to meet you.
I thought you were bringing me wonderful company. You're doubling the wonderful company. Oh, sit down.
Can I insight check to see why she's super over gradually?
Sure.
I mean, I suck with insight, but this feels fishy as hell. Notice, right? Notice.
Yeah, not just with.
Just a -1 to that, so it's
5?
Why is it black?
It's
5.
Wait, another -1? No, you have.
Yeah, because I used
-1
int and I have a +1 to int.
I have +1 and it's a 5. Okay, sorry, my bad.
No idea.
No idea really. She's been very friendly. Like
women, how are they here with sexist jokes?
The only thing you're like, oh, that's fairly strong perfume. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'll sit down.
Yeah, me too.
So what are you doing around here?
Drops off some menus.
I'll immediately ask her. So what are you doing around here? What brings you to this friendly?
Oh well, the academy kind of wanted somebody to keep an eye on the lemon and dangerous circumstances, femme fatales, low chance of success. Who we're gonna send? Of course, it's gonna be Ron. Yeah, because Fails can do it better. I mean, finally, I'm getting appreciated after all these years in the academy. And sure, I think it's like top of the class is valedictorian. Beneath him is I think like salutatorian is called. Like there's a term for like second in class. I think it's salutatorian. I'm gonna Google later. Just like Sonia graduated as a salutatorian, so I'm kind of big deal.
Oh, that's impressive.
I didn't figure that you'd still be working for the academy. I thought you'd maybe go into business, much like your father's, but doing your own thing. Very cool.
Well, I thought doing that, but that's kind of a bit too simple. So I decided I could do better, and I wouldn't say I'm working for the academy. It's more like a research trip. I'm like studying the human-horizon relationships and the nature of. Well.
You've been here long?
About a year, so.
How do you like it so far?
I think they're doing some really right things here. Of course, things could get better. I think they're being a little bit too rigid in their traditions, but it is very empowering, and I've learned a lot. Definitely have resolved some problems.
But what kind of things are they doing correctly, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, they certainly know who should be in charge.
Should be in charge?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, sorry. It took me a while. Yes.
And that's why you should be in charge, because it takes us a while.
It's okay, don't worry. It's normal here for boys.
Have you had your fair share of the hunt, or have you taken any part of it? Have you heard anything about it?
Oh gosh, no, that's That's honestly one of the parts I like. I mean, I get the small ones. It's good business. I've been helping, consulting some people about how to properly set up a representative and like expand your auditory, but the blood sports part, that's just such a waste.
That's an interesting aspect, and indeed that we could probably use some of your insights on that matter.
Oh, I'm sure you could. But enough about myself, Lance. What have you been doing after the academy?
Oh, to be honest, after all the studying, I felt like I wanted to do something more practical for a little while. So I sort of got into piloting, got into racing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Have you been
almost
to
died?
Have you
Yeah, I've raced in college, yeah.
Oh, that is wonderful. I always want to go there.
It's really nice. You should visit sometime. They also have some weird traditions, but the racing circuit is...
Who doesn't?
True. Especially speaking of the academy.
So the part about you almost dying, you look really good for a man who almost died.
Yeah, I found an even better doctor than I am a pilot, and that sorted it out itself out that way. And more or less ever since
then... You need to know a good doctor. A good stylist and a good doctor.
I don't have the stylist part, but at least the doctor will do for now. And after that, I sort of found Miles here and a couple of other people, and we've been doing work all over the sector, really, which has been quite profitable. It's been a lot of fun. Also, plenty of danger involved, but...
And the adventure kind of life.
Well, you can miss me with a danger, but that is true. If you find a good lady or a gentleman among the reason to work with, they are really nice folk. Very good for business. Oh, I think you are on the right track.
I hope so, yeah. Oh.
Now, please tell me you're not going into that dreadful jungle.
To be honest, we're here for an entirely different purpose, really. We're looking for someone, or rather, you probably know him. But it has been, the way it's been presented to us, it looks like we'll have to, in order to make connections.
Although, perhaps if you know him directly and you can arrange an audience, we could be skipping the whole entering the dreadful jungle and all the blood sports.
Well, I know a lot of hymns, but you have to be a little bit more specific.
His name is Ilon.
Oh, Ilono!
Yes,
Ilono he's Young. One of the very few people who are educated in this. I mean, amongst their living.
Yes, so you know him. That's great.
I do. He has such a wonderful place.
How close are you with him? Are you very good friends?
Yeah, I wouldn't call us very good friends. He's kind of my senior in terms of, finding his place on this island. But we had some conversations regarding some of his business ventures. So more like he had a hobby on the side related to his, he's a biotransmutator. Though some of the more colorful things you might see on the market are his creation.
Yeah, cool.
Just really popular with the ladies, make really good bags, that kind of stuff.
Interesting. So it seems luck is upon us, Lance.
Certainly does. Because that's
mainly the reason why we're here in Lamia.
Is that we'd like to meet him, or rather a friend of ours would.
I'm sorry to disappoint you. But if all the reason you called me here is to make me introduce you to another guy, You're gonna have to spend the whole dinner with me telling me stories about your races first.
Listen, it's not exactly like that. It's more like
it will be our pleasure.
Whenever we arrive at any place, I always check the list, see if there's someone from the academy to catch up with, and whenever the useful and the pleasant meet, that's always perfect, right? Most of the time, it's not particularly useful. It's just a pleasant exchange for all time's sake, talking about these kinds of things. And
have you ever heard about Volos?
It's a place in the Union.
Indeed, it's a very snowy and dreadful place. Not easy to fly there.
Oh, I am sensing a story. One moment. Your drinks arrive. Obviously got like a cocktail and she can take a couple things.
Cheers for good old friendships, reuniting and catching up.
For reckless races and pretty faces.
Oh, I like that one.
And that's where we're gonna end the session.
yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, we can